So, I mean, the next thing for me to talk about then is crafting and gathering. I'm still very, new and early on. But, okay, well, I'll go through what I was doing. Right, I wanted some iron tools. Okay, had to go out and find iron. So I went to New World Map, which is like an external website that's just got all the iron nodes just listed because, fuck it, it's way easier that way. I'm better. I'm going to use that. So, doing that, going about the place, getting my iron, filling up my bags, returning back, smelting the iron, getting, oh, look, I've smelted my iron, and now my smelting skill has went up, huzzah, and then having loads and loads of iron, and then going to the vendor and be like, okay, cool, time for a whole set of iron tools. But then, of course, depending on, as you craft those iron tools, your engineering goes up. That means you can create those tools at a better gear score with, better things on them, right? Yeah. So that felt pretty good. I'm like, okay, well, I would get extra speed for all of my tools. Cool. Going to go out into the world. Going to chop down loads of trees. I noticed you get 5% faster tree chopping time per level up to level 20. And then I think it's like 0.5 or 0.3 for every level after that. So it really does slow down. But once you get to that stage where you are at level 20 of something and your speed is actually up a bit, and then you get an iron tool, it just starts to feel better and better and better. And certainly if I can make money from fishing, I'm probably, and there's a chance I might just go and purchase some steel tools. Or maybe I'll craft them myself. It's probably going to be more fun to craft them. So yeah, doing that, getting my tools, getting more skill in all of those things. I'm now just kind of thinking like, okay, well, what if I was able to craft common healing potions? Because then whenever a common healing potion is on the project board for the town, I can list them for sale in that town, make some bank.
Yeah.
And I'm now thinking about those things, with all of my fish. Sometimes fish fillets are the thing that will be on, on the project board. And it's like, well, okay. A lot of people don't like fishing. I do. I'll do a bunch of fishing, sell a bunch of fillets, whenever that appears on the town project board, make some money. And those things to me fundamentally are just kind of neat, kind of fun. I still am not sure to what end I am doing all of this progress, or what happens when I start to get recipes, or even how I use the recipes, but that bit is just working. It's that very RuneScape-like, going around, chopping down all the trees, getting better at chopping trees, then wanting to get some better things to chop down trees with, and that's just satisfying to me in a very fundamental way. It almost makes me wonder, like, what would it be like if you did a total professions revamp of World of Warcraft? That's kind of besides the point, though. But, yeah, it's Moorish. That's mostly what I've got to say about it. It's Moorish. It's not even incredible, and the game doesn't really even feel super finished, and I'm kind of wondering, like, how many biomes are there? Am I going to get a different change of scenery, blah, 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 blah. But that stuff... oh, yeah, Americans say fillet, but fillet is what is said here.
Yeah, apparently fillet's an insult to the French language.
Yeah, well, tough shit. They are... I don't know. That's not how it's pronounced here. Or
yeah, you fillet a fish to get you fillet a fish to get a fish fillet.
Yeah, fill her up.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, that crafting stuff is basically just working pretty well.
Yep.
Trying to think of what else to say about it. I mean, it just generally feels well considered.
Yeah, that's the thing where
it's simple.
Yeah.
Well considered.
Yeah, there's a huge amount of stuff that I really dislike about it in principle, and I'm thinking about it from the prospect of, okay, I'm going to hit you with a review of New World as I would sit down and deeply think about, another game that I've played recently or anything like that. I'm going to think about it really well. Not like as a pure designer, but from a mechanical perspective, what would I do better here? What would I do better here? What would I have not have thought of done here that's good? And I just have so many problems. And then I'm just like, what am I going to do after? Like, okay, this might actually explain it better than anything else. So Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin, has a demo on the PSN. I bought Melty Blood the other day, and I've been playing a little bit of that. I really sort of split myself for a little bit. The almost higher, the more consciousness self of me wants to go and play Melty Blood. It wants to go and play Stranger of Paradise to see what it feels like. But there is a little goblin, a little gremlin in my body You know, beating a drum going, new world, new world, new world, new world. And I think that's the most damning praise I could give a game, is I really want to stop thinking about it. I really don't, like, I have this vicious urge to play it, and I can't get rid of that urge. I just want to play. I just want to go and get a load of iron. I want to chop down a load of trees. I want to make level go up and then go hit people with my axe. And logically, there are better games, but for the experience I want, it's right there, and I want to play it.
Yeah. Just give people some virtual progressions and virtual work, and away they go, and that's the game in a nutshell, essentially.
Yep.
There was a bunch we could go through with like the numbers in the game and stuff like that, but we've done that before in the news channel, and I think we would far rather talk about Drive. Unless there's any other New World things I'd like to talk about.
No, so I did actually, I had some thoughts going on here where I've written down a lot of stuff that I was thinking about early. This is before a fairly long session yesterday where I was
For New World?
Yeah, where I was significantly more mixed on the game overall. And I'm just like, I still agree with every problem I have that I've written down here. But like the final verdict I have is just, it's a sandbox MMO. They've designed it. It's full of that DNA. And it's just straight up got its hooks in me in a way I almost don't want it to, because I'm worried.
Yeah, I get the feeling too. I that's basically the situation that people have got.
Yeah.
In a way, it's kind of, it's like a bit generic in some ways. It's a bit sort of uninspired feeling in some other ways. But then it's like, well, the bits click together. You know, the bits, the Lego set go together, and there you go. You've got the thing you wanted. It doesn't really matter that a few of the blocks aren't really great. The overall structure still stands.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing about it.
At least as a game that we're playing now.
Yeah.
There's obviously the thing to shout out is that you buy it, you can play it whenever. We'll see what DLC's price like. We'll see what monetization looks like later. But goddamn, the idea of just I can just play this anytime. It means I have a replacement to the kind of urge I have for Terraria. A replacement to the urge I have for Minecraft, where I want to go and do those fun things.
Yeah.
And now I have a version of that that's good and seems to largely have the, at least initially, the DNA to actually go the distance. But we will have to wait and see what crafting turns up like later on, or what gathering feels like much later on, see how that ultimately plays out. But
yeah, pretty much.
Good stuff so far.